Top right, yes, top right. You can peep the coin count, 100 million virtual coins. We hit this mark very early on this year, before the new year even, and might I add, no present glitch, no loophole, purely blood, sweat, and time. Lots of time. But I want to address a few things before we get into the month-by-month breakdown of how we actually got to this point, and that is, do you need 100 million coins? No. Do you even need 50 million coins? No. Do you even need 25 million coins? The answer really is no. For MUT, realistically, all you need is 5 million coins in a team, and I would say you're considered set for, the rest of the year. So what I'm trying to say really is you just need 5% of really what I have, and we're really even when it comes to what we actually can buy in MUT. There's no difference. We all can buy the same cards. And for me, collecting all these coins, you might ask why I get so many coins, and well, it's just a product of me becoming the most knowledgeable about the market because, well, that's what my content is. So for me to become the best content creator I can be, I have to put the time into learning the market, and my coin count is simply the result. Another aspect I want to get out of the way is time, because it's a big one. While you might think I'm on the market every single day, sniping, completing sets for 8 to 10 hours a day, I hate to break it to you, but that is not the case. Maybe in the first weeks of the game, I was grinding solos, playing ahead. I probably was on the game 7 to 8 hours a day, but once you get your coins up to a certain amount, and the way I make my coins through investing, you only really need to log on a few days a week for a few hours and you're good. I'll go more into detail when I show you why and what I do on certain days, but now let's finally get into the video. We're gonna do this thing month by month because there's only 5 months so far in Madden 23, so it won't actually be that hard and long of a story or process.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
It's also great that this video is being uploaded in January. I'm recording this actually, I'd say New Year's, January 1st, and not April, which was when I uploaded the same video, the 100 million video last year, and you can actually apply a lot of these concepts that I used moving forward for the rest of the year. But on to the beginning of Madden 23, it was really just like any year of MUT. There definitely were a few changes, right? No power-ups, a bunch of different field pass changes, but the big thing I like to focus on off rip is mainly fielding a competitive team, and I don't really worry about making coins to make coins for the first few weeks of the game. So I'm playing solos, I'm leveling up, I'm playing head-to-head, even a little bit of house rules. I'm doing what the normal MUT player would do to start out the year, and the first real way I built my coin stack up a little bit is through the use of team builder sets. And well, all the coins I would make though through these things, I would just funnel back into my team. The first concept we actually now are going to stop is for sets, and that example being team builders. Sets when you are first starting out is a great way to build your stack, as it's very simple, it's very black and white. You spend around, let's say, 10,000 coins buying a specific set of cards. You exchange it for one card that goes for 15k, you make 3.5k profit. And sets will come and go throughout the year, but to me, sets become a little bit, I'd say, repetitive, a bit of a chore, as you really can't climb up and make, let's say, 50k a set, 100k a set, 500k a set. You're always stuck just making your 5 to 25k a set. So when your coin count goes up to 1 to 2 mil and you want to take advantage of having that larger coin stack, well, sets really aren't the way to go, because you're still only making 5k to 25k, and you finally start to realize it's not worth the time spent. But sets, even as they are a great way to start out and very easy to find. I mean, all you got to do is run through the sets, you add up the requirements, and see if there's profit to be made. The other reason why I'm not too big into sets is because of my platform. Sets really only give out one card, and if I share that card, if I share that set, it's gonna backfire and almost eliminate all the profit. So I tend to shy away from sets, as even with the little platform I have, they're essentially impossible to consistently make profit if I share what sets I'm doing, which I always do. But also, that's another reason why I'm always promoting team builders, and well, eventually that will be team of the year sets, is they have multiple rewards, team builders being 64 for team builder 1, 32 for team builder 2, so their cards through those sets can't really be flooded on the auction house. But back to the August recap, I do this and I put coins into my team in the beginning of the year because, well, my desire to play head-to-head and eventually weekend league, at least to start this year, was very high, and the only way you learn the game, you learn to get better, well, you gotta have a competent team. Another thing too, though, is you do make quite a lot of coins through trophy packs in head-to-head, so that is another benefit. After a few weeks of grinding the game, I maximized my levels, spamming a little bit of the team builder sets, even some team affinity sets. I'd gotten to around 3 million coins heading into September, and the first real, I would say major program that I didn't start the year out with, and that was the Campus Hero program, and we're going to make our first big training investment of the year. Training investing is a type of investment that it's going to become the most important one. It's the main way I made my coins, at least for this year. The concept of investing in training is pretty simple. You are buying training, which means you are buying cards, whichever cards are going for the cheapest training, when there is little to no demand for training, meaning the cards are cheap. And unlike previous years where training had multiple reasons for demand, you would power up players, there would be better rerolls, I would say. This year is very simple. If there are no good rerolls, training, the only purpose for them this year really are rerolls. Abilities are very cheap. If a reroll's gotten old, if a reroll just simply isn't good, training has no purpose, thus no demand, thus training will be cheap. So you go out and buy the cheapest training, being cards, always checking MUT-GG for the overalls, and you buy them a little bit under, right? 1 to 2 to 3,000 coins under what they're going for, and you would just hold them in your binder. Make sure you don't ever quick sell your training investments. You hold them in your binder, and once there becomes a demand for training, usually with new content dropping, there's a new reroll, the value of training will rise, and thus the cards in your binder that you bought for a cheap price will rise in price too, and you sell them. There is a little bit of a trick when it comes to selling back your training, as you are going to use what is called a lazy selling price. So quick detour from training investments. Lazy selling is a concept where you are selling any overall on just the overall filter. And you can do this with pack trash, binder junk, investments, every single card you get in MUT. This pack, for example, has an 85 overall in it. Instead of selling that 84 at that individual player's price being, in the low 7,000 coins, if you just look up the 84 to 85 filter, you find the cheapest overall, that is 85, set that price for 1 hour, you're gonna get, 8 to 9K, around 10% extra for selling at that price. And that 10%, if you do for every single card throughout the year, is a lot of coins. And again, you can do this for every single overall. All you have to do is search the overall filter. For a 90 overall, you would go 90, 91. You would see the cheapest 90 overall. Make sure you list for 1 hour, and you're gonna again get 10 to 20% extra coins on every card you sell at every overall. I use this for, again, pack trash. If I have any binder junk, especially investments, mainly investments, we use a lazy selling for. But back to training investing, as it is still to this day, it is the main way I gain coins. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities every week when it comes to buying low and selling high. And we'll go through those instances that I use throughout the year. But going forward, even for the new year, training investing is going to be the best way, and the way I'm going to make the rest of my coins the rest of the year. Another aspect of training investing that I used in the beginning of the year, not so much now because my stack is a little bit, bigger, I had less coins back then, was actually overlisting cards that I had already bought as investments. So how we just talked about lazy investing, right? Selling a card at only their overall filter, it would be a few more thousand coins than what they would go for individually. Well, overlisting is selling that same overall at a few thousand coins higher. A real-time example, right? Let's say I buy an 84 overall for 5K as an investment for whatever reason. Unfiltered, right? I can lazy sell it at 6.5K. Overlisting, I would list this card at 8 to 9,000 coins. The reason for this is if the investment actually hits, if the investment is successful, training does rise, for whatever reason, our 84 overall does rise, it would actually go up to that 8K to 9K mark. So I'm selling these cards at where, if the investment is successful, their price would be. The only catch to this, because, it sounds, great if I can sell all these cards at 4K above what I'm buying them for. The only catch is that you would list around 20 and only sell 5. But I mean, when I was doing this, again, this was back in the early days, I'd be buying 84 overalls for 20K, right? I could lazy sell them at 25, 26K. I'd list these cards for 29 to 30K, and I was making 5, 6, 7K after tax per card. So when I sold, 5 per hour, that's like 25K to 30K. So in the beginning of the year, when I would say I bought training more so on Saturday, this was before the TVP came into play. When I bought training on Saturday, instead of sitting and waiting, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for that new reroll to drop on Thursday, I'd constantly be overlisting these cards, making 25K an hour. And it really came down to how much I wanted to list throughout the day. Normally, right in the beginning of the year, my motivation was a little bit higher. I would list like 5 to 6 times a day. And that would take like 5 minutes each time. And then of course, when the cards do sell, I get those 5 sales per hour, taking that 25K profit, taking that, like 100K, 125K coins. I would then take those coins and buy more trading. And I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but this was the main catalyst that really got my coin count from 3 to 4 million coins all the way up to 20 million coins from early September to middle October as we were waiting for Team Diamonds to drop. Don't worry, we'll get into that. But that is trading investing with some extra details involved. It's a very simple process, right? You buy when there's no demand, you sell when there's high demand, and we did this a lot, let's just put it that way. Moving on to September. September, a little bit of a dry month when it comes to Madden. No, the honeymoon phase is definitely over, but September is the month where we begin to install what I like to call our weekly investment routine. Team of the Week is introduced in early September, and well, if you watched last year's 100 million coin video, I think you'll know where this is going. Team of the Week investing is one of the most consistent, reliable, and profitable ways to make coins as a short-term investment. Pretty simple. All you do is buy the highest overall set piece for that week on Tuesday night. The cards would drop Tuesday afternoon. You'd buy Tuesday night, you'd buy Wednesday morning for whatever they go for, and well, the cards would go up in price. The reason we actually do buy these Team of the Week cards, or are able to buy these Team of the Week cards, is what I call an oversupply of a certain card onto the market. Now, for Team of the Week, the reason is this early bird Team of the Week pack. It gives out a card from that week. The minimum overall card you can get is that set piece. So, statistically speaking, you're going to pull that highest overall set piece the most often, thus making that card become flooded onto the market in a pretty good price. We'll also be using this oversupply concept many times throughout the year, but Team of the Week is one of the best. For 15 weeks, we have bought the high set pieces on Tuesday night and either individually sold later on in the week, or we've gone through and liquidated through the Team of the Week champion sets. Sometimes they're super expensive champions, and we sell these guys, I'd say, for around a 10 to 20% profit after tax on each individual card I buy. As the weeks went on, I was able to put more and more and more coins into Team of the Week investing every single week, and it got to the point where I was making somewhere around 500k to a million coins after tax per week. The next weekly investment we did introduce was only 2 weeks later down the line, and it was a day earlier, that being on Mondays, being AKAs. The investment was almost identical to Team of the Weeks in the sense that AKA had a one-time training reroll pack that would refresh every Monday, and it would flood whatever the lowest overall in the pack. If it was an 88 plus, it would be 88s, 89 plus, 89 plus. It would flood that lowest overall card onto the market. The slight difference in AKAs to Team of the Weeks was that AKAs were generally a little bit cheaper. They actually usually went for whatever the cheapest training mark was, or they became the cheapest training you could buy on that Monday. But just like Team of the Weeks, we simply buy Monday. Now, Team of the Weeks, you would have to buy sometime Tuesday afternoon. AKAs, you could essentially buy the entire Monday. We would sell later in the week, making around a 10 to 20% profit, once again, after tax. To give a brief understanding of why these cards went up, for one, when the TVP came into play, training would normally bounce up when there was LTDs in packs, and Monday was a very important day this year because there was no LTDs in training variety packs, and usually training was cheapest on Mondays. So we'd buy AKAs on Monday, and just naturally as the training market rose throughout the week, those AKA cards would rise, but they'd also rise because individually they were cards needed for the AKA sets. Sometimes I would even sell, not even later in the week for AKA cards, but I would sell on Tuesday before I'd even buy Team of the Week cards. That way I could go all out on AKAs and then go all out on Tuesday for Team of the Weeks. Monday and Tuesday became the most important days when it came to making coins and investing. And just like Team of the Week, I invested in AKAs every single Monday until the program stopped in early December. Now onto a fiasco that it was supposed to only be a 2-week process, but ended up taking it about a month. It was a month-long, 4 to 5 week process of investing, and that was Team Diamond investing. The thing was, though, the actual weeks leading up to the release of Team Diamonds 1 were simply amazing. I was investing in a plethora of cards spanning from 83 overall to 87 overall core elites, buying them at trading discard value, while also buying 80 to 82s as team builder investments because team builders are always in Team Diamond sets. Originally, I had invested in these cards about 1.5 weeks before the planned release, which was sometime in mid to late September. But then EA came out and said there was an issue with the sets that would delay them another week or two. And well, when that happened, then hurricane season hit and that delayed them another week. What was supposed to be a mid-September release turned into a mid-October release. This actually worked out really well in my favor though, because like I went over before, I was constantly overlisting my investments and selling cards to make a consistent profit as we waited and waited and waited for release. This was also the time I was probably putting in the most work on the market, constantly buying and listing Team Diamond investments Wednesday through Sunday, then focusing on AKAs and Team of the Weeks Monday and Tuesday. But while this was all going down, we also, and I already talked about it a little bit, we got a pack that would change the entire market, the course of Madden 23 for the rest of the year. And that would be the glorious Training Variety Pack, a short summary of the TVP. It's what I'm going to call it the rest of this video. It's a pack, it costs training, that gives out 90% Platinum Core Elite, which quick sell for only coins. This would make the market rise to a point, at least at training, that would make it to where it would go for, or training would go for, a point of break even for the pack. The first pack they released was 1250, training 1250. Training rose all the way up to around 25 coins per training. Coins per training, by the way, is a ratio that tells you the value of one training point. The higher the number, the more expensive training is. Now, since the pack gave out 90% platinum players, aka coin quick sells, the value of the pack never changed while it was in the store for the duration. The first TVP had a timer of around 21 days or 3 weeks, and during that time, training was locked at 25 per. The only issue was that the Training Variety Pack was scheduled to go away about a week before the new, mid-October Team Diamond release. So it put me in a little bit of a sticky situation, a bind, I would say, because once the TVP went away, all the cards and all the training, remember, we were buying these core elites at training discard price that had gone up to 25 per. Once that TVP went away, those same cards would go down to 12 per. So all the cards that I'd kind of been stocking up and had invested in for Team Diamonds, I sold, and for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I really didn't buy any core elites while we were waiting for the TVP to go away. But even with all that craziness, we started the month again, this was September, with around 3 to 4 million coins, and by the time Team Diamonds rolled around, which was mid-October, so remember, this was a month and a half away, we got all the way up to around 20 million coins in value, but again, it was all invested for Team Diamonds. Before we actually get into the release debacle of Team Diamonds, because there's still a lot more to the story that was Team Diamonds, I also need to make a point that during this time, right from September leading into mid-October, I actually wasn't spending any coins on my team. I'm not going to go into it too much because it is personal preference, but I felt this year it wasn't really worth it to maintain a very good team in the early months, as Weekend League, the mode that I prefer to play, didn't offer enough rewards this year to warrant fielding an elite team. I also found that when upgrading to the best players this year, they would often lose their value way faster than last year. For the first few weeks, I was spending, a million coins every week on upgrades, but just 1 to 2 days later, those million coins in upgrades were worth 500k. It was stunting my coin balance from growing rapidly, and since I didn't really not enjoy playing games, I didn't really see a point in playing games. Why would I continue to funnel coins I made from investing into my team? I ended up rocking a BND team for, the majority this year, but I actually do, at the time of this recording, plan on buying a full team, later this week. But back to Team Diamonds, because, there was one more curveball EA threw at us, and that was the trophy pack make rights just a day before release. To paint the picture, in middle of October, the TVP had gone away. I had put around 19 mil to 20 mil into Team Diamond investments that I bought, again, like these 84, 85 overall players at around 15 per. To give an example, price point overall, that would be like an 86 overall. I was buying at 25k, 87 overalls at around 37, 38k. So to backtrack for the trophy make rights, for the past month, head-to-head players actually weren't receiving trophy packs for winning Super Bowls. And of course, on the day before Team Diamonds actually release, I have all my cards waiting in my binder that I bought. EA grants all trophy packs to any players who are missing them, which was millions of trophy packs and billions of 80 plus overall elite players added to the market. For example, those 86 overalls I bought at 25k went down to 18 to 20k. The 86 overalls I bought at 37k down to 30k. It was probably the absolute worst case scenario to anybody, including, which was me, that bought cards, bought investments over the weekend. I managed to get some damage control done. I was frantically buying and selling as many cards as I could, but it really wasn't enough. Release Wednesday rolled around, and the cards that we invested in were in all the sets. We had made good investments. The problem is the price had shot down so low from where we bought them at they really just went back right about where we bought them at or a little bit above. The only huge W were the 80 to 82s as team builders did skyrocket. 80 overalls went from like 3K to 7K. 82 and 83 overalls went from like 6K to 12K. Everything else was either a slight profit or a break even. And you might not say that's bad, right? That would be an L, but for the time spent, it completely wasn't worth it. I ended up only making around 2 to 2.5 mil altogether for a lot of time put in on the actual release, but the main profit, and to go, again, this like wraps up the summary of going into Team Diamonds, I did grow from 4 to 5 mil all the way up to now 22 mil after Team Diamonds, but for the most part, that was from me overlisting and selling and buying those core leads leading up to the release as well. You had Team of the Week investing and you had AKA investing every single week. But nevertheless, I had successfully grown my stack to 20 mil, which was a good point heading into the holiday season. Moving on to November, and even I'm going to talk a little bit about late October because we kind of skipped over that and most feared especially. This was definitely the slowest month in terms of progression for my coin stack. I had around 25 mil again, 22 to 25 mil after Team Diamonds happened. We continued our weekly routine of AKAs and Team of the Week investing, but training investing sort of slowed down from September to mid-October as the TVP played a major factor into training, not really going up or down. The next semi-big investment that we made in terms of training was going into the All Madden 2 release, which we knew was going to happen in early November. I had spent around half my stack of training. It's somewhere around 8 to 9 per heading into the week that we thought we were going to get All Madden. But bigger news was yet to come. TVPs were actually making their return, so I quickly scrambled, and with the remaining, 10 to 12 million coins I did have, I bought all of that training at 10 per. Altogether, I had around 24 to 25 million coins invested in training at around 9.5 per. And sure enough, training jumped to around 11 to 12 per. After the TVP 2.0 being the same pack, but it was 3,000 coins training. So training wasn't going to jump back up to 25, but it jumped to 11 to 12 per, the ratio or the market value that the training pack was going for at that time. So selling back all the training investments that I had at around 12 per, 10.9 after tax, I went from around 25 mil to 28.5 mil, which is a solid little profit. The next few weeks leading up to Blitz were pretty standard. I'd say this is the time I didn't play Madden the most. I also did get sick for around 2 weeks leading up to Blitz, but I was still AKA investing, Team of the Week investing, was still, gathering just coins naturally. And all the while, my coin assets heading into Blitz were around 32 to 33 million coins worth of assets. Now, I said assets, I did not say liquid coins because some of these assets were in the form of LTDs as investments. LTD investing hasn't been very prevalent this year. I haven't used it for, there's many reasons. TVPs have made LTDs very common, and one of the main things that made LTDs so good last year was they were very rare in the market. You would see like maybe 10 at max up in Madden 22 of each LTD. This year, you're going to see 50 plus of each card that is in TVP packs. You also have to factor in that this year, EA has been releasing, I would say, 10 out of 10 champions and statted cards every single week that would easily trump older cards, whereas last year, there would be some content drops like Team of the Week, Wildcard Wednesday, even some promo champions in Madden 22 just were a little bit underwhelming. The last reason that I don't really like investing in LTDs is that they are redux much faster this week. Once we get an overall bump, we go from 94 overall champions to 95 overall champions. Those 94 overall LTDs will get redux, so you really can only hold an LTD for 2 to 3 weeks max before they get a redux. So that would, kill the long-term value of investing in them, but there is one circumstance where LTD investing works like magic, and that is during a market crash, or what I like to call a buy team period. See, when players go to buy back their team during market crashes, a lot of times LTDs are at the top of their list being the best cards at certain positions. But while a market crash will normally supply regular cards in the market, thus creating a market crash, LTDs are out of packs and they don't have any new supply. So the only transaction actually happening is the buying of LTDs. There's no actually any more new selling of LTDs, and you will see a drastic rise in the price of LTDs. For the Blitz market crash, I had two major LTD investments. The first one being left guard Allen. Not going to say his last name. I had bought 10 at around 410k, and right guard Zach Martin, which I had around 10 at an average of 485k. They both eventually went up to 775k apiece. However, I did end up prematurely selling them both at around 625 to 650k. But the big thing I learned with this buyback period in LTD investing for the Blitz market crash, it gave me proof and a reason and a trust that this type of LTD investment will work, that we'll make and benefit from this a little bit later this year. So getting into Blitz and what were my investments, because there were three main ones. The first, I wanted to buy training as the TVP 2.0 coincidentally went away at the start of Blitz. I wanted to buy training somewhere around the 4.5 mark and hold it until zero chill, where once again, that demand, no demand during Blitz. I knew that during zero chill, there would be a raised demand for training, that being presence. The second investment was actual Blitz cards, which were essentially LTDs, only available in the store for 24 hours. We had done this in Madden 22 and it was highly successful. And the last investment, main investment I made during the Blitz market crash, was Team Builder 2 investing, which was 82 overall cards, 84 overall cards, and 86 overall cards, because Team Builders 2 were about a month overdue in comparison to Madden 22. And if we nailed these requirements on the overalls for these sets, we'd make bank. And I'm actually quickly just going to recap Team Builder investing, since it's kind of out there on its own in early December. We hit big. About 2 weeks after Blitz, TB2s did arrive. 82 overalls and 84 overalls were the main requirement. 82 overalls, which I bought around 300 of at 2k, went up to 8,000 coins, and the 384s that I bought for 4k went up to 9k. So you can see I made quite a bit of profit. I actually used these overalls to build out the sets, make even more profit. And altogether, for that the 650 cards I bought, I even was exchanging 80 overalls up into 82s. I made around 2.5 to 3 million coins after tax from just buying low overalls over Blitz weekend. Now on to training and Blitz cards. I'm going to combine them because it was honestly a mess. I was able to buy a good chunk of training for around 4.5 per over the weekend, which was it was solid, but the majority of my coins that I put into was Blitz players, which was around 30 mil. And once Blitz ended on Monday night, you know, my Blitz players were looking good, right? You had Chris Lindstrom, Kyle Hamilton, all the Blitz players you guys know, 89 overalls through 93s. I was even selling some 93 overalls that I'd bought at 200k, being Breece Hall, Micah Fitzpatrick, all the way up to 250, 90 overalls like Chris Lindstrom, for example, that I bought for 70. I was selling for 85k and everything was looking great. Then Tuesday hit and the market crashed and almost every single card went to around 4 per, which would have been fine if I had bought the Blitz players at 4.5 per. The problem is I was paying around 200k for 93 overall Blitz players, which was 6 per, and they shot all the way down to 150k. You know, it caused a little bit of panic in me. Luckily though, I did sell a good chunk of my Blitz players on Monday, but kind of like how we got screwed over during Team Diamonds the day before, I had to go a little bit into damage control and I doubled down on my Blitz investments. I proceeded to buy a bunch of 93 overall Blitz players, specifically at 150k. I mean, I was just selling them for 250k the day before. Also, at this time, I was able to sell a select few Blitz players, being some 89s, some 90s, and 91s, for break even or slight profit, and I used those coins to be able to fund the doubling down on like the 91 overall cards and the 93 overall cards. So yeah, it was very, very, very hectic. My Blitz players that I bought pretty much turned into training investments, I would say. It did work out in the end. Again, we're going to recap a lot, but at the end of Blitz, I had around 40 million coins worth of training. Another thing that I did during Blitz a little bit earlier in the week, like Friday and Saturday of Blitz, was flipping cards or buying cards low whenever there was a Blitz offer that flooded those specific cards onto the market. The best of those was buying Team of the Week cards 91 overall through 93 overall on that Friday and Saturday for super cheap. I then ended up actually selling them back Sunday when they rebounded. There was no more Team of the Week packs or Blitz offers. There was also a platinum bundle that made high-end meta cards like Team of the Week cards go up in price. Now looking back at it, that platinum bundle was probably the reason why the market crashed a few days later, because the market had hit its peak Sunday afternoon. But overall, Blitz was a success. I do wish if I timed my training buys and my Blitz players better, I definitely could have doubled my profits, going from, like, again, 32, 33 mil to 40 mil. And here we go. December, possibly my best month of all time when it comes to gaining coins. That's right, remember, going into December, we only had around 40 million coins in total assets, which was basically just 40 million coins worth of training that I bought at 4.5 per. And for the next few weeks leading up to the release of Presents, which happened to be December 15th, I was making major moves. Starting out with the surprise release of All Madden 3 on December 1st, training went up to around 5.5 to 6 per at some overalls. So what did I do? And this is going to be a theme. I sold all my training cards for 5.5 per or higher. So I'd say I probably dumped around half of my 40 million coins worth of training, got all the way back to 20 mil in hopes of training dropping, leading up to the days where Zero Chill was going to be officially released for the first time, December 8th. And well, what do you know? EA releases a 50% discounted AKA bundle the following Monday before Zero Chill releases on Thursday, and training shot back down to once again 4.5 per. And I think you guys know where this is going. I took that 20 million coins that I had liquidated just the previous weekend or previous few days, once again, put it back all into training at 4.5 per. My training stack kept stacking and stacking. Now at the point of, I'd say I was probably around 45 to 50 million coins worth of training. This was also when the TB2s hit and I got that little 2-3 million coins. By the time Zero Chill had rolled around, again, I had 10 million training equal to 45 million coins at the ratio of 4.5 per. To kick off Zero Chill, there was also a few surprises. The TVP for the third time would be making a return, as well as Presents wouldn't actually be out at the initial launch of Zero Chill, but rather December 15th, the second Zero Chill release. To kick things off, training instantly went to 6.5 to 7 per because of the TVP, and quickly to do the math, I had 10 million training that was valued at 45 per. If I were to sell that 10 million training at 7 per, being 6.3 back, that 45 million coins worth of training is now 63 million coins worth of training. So hopefully now you can see where we start to snowball things, and it gets pretty easy as our stack continues to grow. And even after all that, on Thursday when Zero Chill released, training again go up to 7 per, I sold around 15 million coins, hoping once again, just one more time, that EA would release something that would lower training back to that 4.5 to 5 per. And EA Sports on the Saturday following that Thursday Zero Chill release decided to drop the best MUT bundle of all time, which was a $25 Pro Game Day bundle, which was giving out around 1 million coins in value. Again, for only $25, and you could buy 5 of them. Being the holidays and all, a ton of people bought and sold the content in the packs, resulting in the market going back down to 5 and even close to 4.5 per, which was ludicrous. Remember, the TVP was in game, and training at a minimum would rebound to 6 per, and also with Presents dropping the next week, I thought training could go all the way up to 7 per. So yep, I spent again my 15 mil to 20 million coins liquid coins I had got. Thursday and Friday of that week, I bought training at an average of 4.8 to 4.9 per. And by the following Thursday, the 15th, I had actually 11 million training going into the Present release. Presents release, and lo and behold, training rises from 4.5 and 5 per all the way back to 6.5 to 7 per, making me once again a fortune. The next week and a half leading up to Christmas was definitely a little bit blurry and confusing, but to summarize, I sold around half of my training at 7 per, but also wanted to keep the other half and put it all into Presents, as for one, the Present reroll for training was really good, giving around a 90% return on value. With the rest of the liquid coins I got from selling back my training, we went to the old reliable, and this is where I hinted at this, we went to LTD investing going into the Christmas market crash. We were invested in mainly 3 LTDs, being the Ghost LTDs, Antonio Cromartie, Patrick Mahomes, and Kenneth Walker. This was my opportunity to go all out. I trusted how the market reacted last time during the Blitz market crash, so yeah, I went all out. I bought 28 Cromarties at an average of 645k, 10 Mahomes at an average of 515k, and 18 Walkers at a 432k average, resulting in around 30 to 31 million coins invested going into Christmas in just Ghost LTDs. Presents-wise, throughout all this, I was re-rolling in. If you combined all the quick sell values of my Presents in my binder, I had around 35 million coins worth of training. I valued it around 5 to 6 per in Presents. And finally, I had around 12 million liquid coins to snipe with Christmas morning. So 32 million in LTDs, 32 million in Presents, and 12 million liquid coins. giving me around a 76 million coin value of assets in my binder and altogether going into Christmas morning. To start things off with the LTDs, Cromartie went to 985k, Mahomes 890, and Walker 750k, which in total after tax made me around 14 million coins profit, now putting me at somewhere around 90 million coins in value, right? We still got to include the presents and the liquid coins hypothetically. Next up was the 12 million liquid coins, which I did spend in all of about 2 hours Christmas morning, buying a plethora of stocking stuffers as well as cheap training at an average of probably 4 per. As a result, when training went back to 6.5 per the following days after Christmas, as the TVP was still in the store and there was new zero chill drops, I made around 8 million coins off getting that. Remember, I sold the training at 6.5 per, 5.9 after tax. I had pot for 4. If you're wondering how I was able to actually buy cards Christmas morning throughout all the server errors in only an hour or two, the companion app was working wonders, allowing me to buy cards at bulk at alarmingly low prices. And then mainly being 92s and 93s, it did not take long to run through 12 million coins. So now our coin total is at 100 mil, 98, 99 mil, give or take a few mil in value. And all that was left to, add on to my account was the presents. But the thing is the present that I actually had, right? Remember, I got these presents at a 4.5 training ratio, which automatically gave me a profit because the cards I got out of the presents, I was going to be able to sell for 6.5 to 7 per just a few days later. And this is the part where it definitely gets fuzzy and confusing. I think I profited somewhere around 10 to 15 mil off of presents. Again, I had 970 of them. It was super hard to keep track of every present I got, as well as what I sold each individual card for. It was 100% one of the most profitable years for presents ever, and even without the present glitch, I managed to get up to, now you can see, 115 mil in total coins. Going from the low 30s to 115 mil in about a month is something I don't think I ever expect to do again, but yeah, that's where it kind of leaves us, right? Last year, I uploaded in April, so it was kind of a full year thing. This year was just 4 to 5 months. I hope you guys can understand and see that even though this year it's been way easier to make coins, it's a lot simpler. To me, it's been a little bit boring as it's just mainly training investments. But that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, right, this marathon of video. Hope you learned a little bit and can use some of these concepts. Don't worry, I'm still going to be uploading as much as I can for the rest of the year, trying to help you guys make coins. But comment, I know you guys are going to have plenty of questions. Comment if you have any questions. Like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. And until next time, peace.